I'm Paul Haggis, and I became a Scientologist when I was very young. And I broke with them in 2009. I did a lot of courses, and I did all of the auditing, every single bit. I went from the bottom to the top of the bridge. I went to, at the time, OT7. The OT materials just didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get the gains they said I would get, but didn't mean I didn't try. I applied myself as best I could. I looked inward. I tried to do everything I could because I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to learn. I wanted to, and even if it didn't make sense to me, I said, okay, well, some things don't make sense. I mean, the subconscious is a strange thing. And okay, perhaps this is an allegory, perhaps it's not, I don't know, but I'll try it. What the hell? I'd already paid for it, $250,000. It was interesting. After I did the OT levels, I went to the head of Celebrity Center. I sat down and I said, I'm not a Scientologist. I like the self-help stuff, but I'm not a Scientologist. So I think I have to resign. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't believe what you believe. She said, Paul, there are all kinds of Jews. There are all kinds of Christians. Did we ever ask you to believe anything? What's the first thing you read in Scientology? And the first thing I read, which hooked me, was, if it's true for you, it's true for you. Use what you want to use, don't what you want. You can still be a Scientologist. And I went, oh, okay. And that's how I started to justify things. And I looked around and I said, listen, it's not a harmful group. It's not hurting anybody. There's no reason I should resign, until I realized it was hurting people. There was this proposition in California called Proposition 8, which had come out and said that it wanted to make gay marriage illegal because the Supreme Court of California had granted the rights for gays to be married, which I thought was a great thing. So my daughter Lauren wrote me and said, have you seen this? And it was just a small article about how Scientology, or one of the churches of Scientology, had joined the list of churches who were supporting Proposition 8. And I went, whoa. I mean, of course, it was personal because I have 2 daughters who are gay. I can't be part of an organization that doesn't support human rights for everyone. When I found out about this, I called up Tommy Davis, and I said, Tommy, what the hell's this? The church has come out as a public supporter of this proposition. So now you have to make a public statement saying you are in support of gay marriage. Why don't you actually make a statement? And he said, oh, yeah, we'll look into that. Months go by, I keep bugging him. Oh, yeah, we're looking into it. And so I'm starting to get really skeptical at this point. And so I finally nail him on it. And he said, Paul, here's the thing. This came up in one website. It was only one thing. And so we aren't going to say anything because it'll just draw attention to us. And nobody noticed, so it'll go away. I said, Tommy, I noticed. And that's enough. So for a church that talks about how much people have to take responsibility, they take none.
0.
At that time, I was working on a movie, researching a film that I was writing called The Next 3 Days, and something pops up on my screen. These related videos. You might be interested in this. And there's an interview with Tommy Davis.
Church, but if you're a member of the
Sure.
Church of Scientology and someone in your family or a friend or your spouse is skeptical or critical of the Church of Scientology, you are supposed to disconnect yourself from that person.
We consider family to be a building block of any society. So anything that's characterized as disconnection or this kind of thing, it's just not true. There isn't any such policy that in the church that's dictating who people should or should not be in communication with. You know, it just doesn't happen.
Tommy Davis, who is the spokesperson for the church, he's being asked about the policy of disconnection.
Anything that's characterized as disconnection or this kind of thing, it's just not true. There isn't.
I confronted him about this, and I said, Tommy, I don't have to search outside to ask for, to check research and see if this has happened to other people. It's happened to my wife. You asked her and me to disconnect from her parents because of something trivial they did. Tommy outright lies and says that about the policy of disconnection. Says that no, that doesn't exist. I mean, why would he lie like that, straight lie? Because one of the things LRH says is never lie in PR. So I wonder what else he's lying about. And for the first time, I start to look. From the time that I got in, for 30 years, I never read one critical thing about Scientology. When I finally decided to open my eyes and look, I was shocked, just shocked. Suddenly, I heard senior members of the church were speaking out. So I started to look, and I started to read, and then I started to reach out to people. Two of my daughters are gay and told me how they'd been treated within the church. I didn't know.
Paul Haggis' daughters were openly harassed by church members for being gay. Investigating further, Haggis discovered that church doctrine viewed homosexuality as a disease that only Hubbard's teachings could cure.
When you learn certain things, it really is just a responsibility you have to tell the truth. It's not really a choice. I felt that I had to speak out. So I then wrote my letter of resignation. And I'm a writer. It was a long letter of resignation.
Well,
It was very good.
Yes.
Thank you. I wanted them to know what I had found out and why I was resigning. But I kept it secret from my wife, Deborah, because she was getting gains out of Scientology for the first time. I was pretty sure that she wouldn't leave, that she would stay in Scientology and choose that, because that's what most of them do. And I said, Deborah, I'm about to resign from the Church of Scientology. And she said, oh my God, this is craziness. I said, yeah, I understand, but here's why. And she said, well, let me read the letter. So I did, and she said, well, if this is true, I'll resign with you, of course. I went, wow. Very grateful. I should have known. She's a real independent thinker, and she's a terrific woman. And so I should have known that she'd stand up with me. So I sent the letter to 25 friends in the church that I was resigning. And I'd hoped that they would read this letter and be horrified at the things I'd found out. I figured any of my friends who read this would look at that and go,
I know
wow,
Paul.
I know him to be a
Paul's
person of
good
integrity.
guy, and if he's saying this shit's going
I
on,
better look into it.
Exactly.
That's what I thought they would do.
So did I.
I was
and
naive.
Wasn't that part heartbreaking to you?
I didn't send it to the press. I sent it to 25 of my best and closest friends within the church, because I thought you should know about this, that you would be outraged by some of these things that I discovered. I'm sorry, at the beginning, I excused them. And they were my friends, and I excused them. You know what? Damn them now for being purposely blind. There is abuse going on within the church. And they could see it if they wanted to. All these Scientologists could see this abuse if they just decided to open their eyes. If they just looked over here. It's not that far away. When you actually look, it's right there. These people who say they're seeking the truth are terrified of truth. Because if it disagrees with them, it'll shake their entire life. Yes, it will. Trust me, it shook my entire life. And that's a good thing.